Mattot, tribes. God's trumpet call presence encounter the living Messiah. Aliyah 1 Numbers chapter 30 verse 2 to chapter 30 verse 17. Mattot from a messianic perspective. Mattot, tribes. Mattot is the 42nd Torah portion and 9th Torah portion in the 4th book of the Torah, the book of Numbers. The Torah portion begins with the verse, "Then Moshe spoke to the heads of the tribes of the people of Israel. He said, Here is what ADONAI has ordered when a man makes a vow to ADONAI or formally obligates himself by swearing an oath. He is not to break his word, but is to do everything he said he would do." Numbers chapter 30 verse 1 and 2. Only on this occasion Moshe used this introductory phrase. Moshe spoke to the heads of the tribes of the sons of Israel, saying. But Rashi says that Moshe always used this mode of teaching. Every time Moshe gave the Lord's commandments, they were first given to the heads of the tribes of the sons of Israel, and then later to the rest of the congregation. When Moshe descended from Mount Sinai in the second time, he announced the renewal of the covenant first to the rulers of the congregation, and afterwards to all the sons of Israel. When Yeshua HaMashiach taught his disciples, he taught his 12 disciples first, and then his followers. In Luke chapter 22 verse 30, Yeshua HaMashiach said, "You will sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel." Apostles gave Yeshua's teachings to the 70, from them to everyone. Vows. In this reading, we find commandments regarding vows and oaths. Two categories of statements a person can make. Vows are called neder in Hebrew, and the oaths are called shewah in Hebrew. A vow, a neder, denotes a voluntary but binding, a solemn promise made to the Lord. It is an act of consecration promising a gift, a service, or abstain beyond what the law requires. It is optional to initiate, but once uttered, a neder is irrevocable without divine release. Deuteronomy chapter 23-22 shows us that vows are voluntary. There is no commandment that compels a neder. A vow is directed to God. The divine name is always in view. Genesis chapter 28 verse 20-22 and Jonah chapter 20 verse 9. Deuteronomy chapter 23 tells us that once a vow is made, it is binding. Whatever you have promised with your lips, you must carefully keep. Vows can be made in public, as in Psalms chapter 66 verse 13-15. Some vows are pronounced at the sanctuary. Vows can be made in private, as in 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 11. Vows, neder, is often paired with oath, stressing solemnity. Numbers chapter 30 verse 2. The Talmud presents a hypothetical vow regarding the coming of the Messiah. Talmud says, if a man swore, "I will become a Nazarite on the day on which the Son of David comes," but there is a problem with such a vow, for you don't know the day nor the hour. This makes every day a potential day on which you are responsible to fulfill the vow. Therefore, a person who makes such a vow should abstain from wine every day, because Messiah might come on any day. An old Jewish tradition states that Messiah will not come on a Shabbat or Yom Tov, festivals of Shabbat. This allows the person who made this vow to drink on the Shabbat and on Yom Tov, because one may assume that the Messiah will only come on a weekday. Comment here if someone says, "I will be a Nazarite on the day on which the Son of David comes." He is permitted to drink wine on Shabbat and festival days, but forbidden on any of the weekdays. Oaths. An oath is a solemn promise or declaration, often invoking God as a witness to the truth of what is being affirmed or to the binding nature of a promise. Oaths serve as a means to establish trust and accountability among individuals and between humans and God. In biblical times, people took vows and oaths in the name of the Lord. These vows and oaths usually preface their statement like, "As surely as the Lord lives," or "I swear by the Lord." The person swearing in this manner invokes God as his witness. In the scriptures, the Lord states his intention in the form of vows and oaths. These statements usually preface the words like, "As surely as I live," or "I swear by myself." Just as the Lord requires us to keep the vows and oaths that we make to God, he himself keeps the vows and oaths that he makes. The topic of making vows and oaths allude to the exile and redemption, because the Almighty has sworn oaths regarding both. The Lord himself swore an oath to give to Abraham and to his descendants the land of Canaan. And the Lord referred to the Holy Land as the land I swore to give to your fathers. ADONAI's oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is the origin of the term, the promised land. The Lord has made a solemn oath in his own name that the land will belong to the children. On the other hand, there are instances where God swore to punish Israel. The Lord swore to punish the wickedness of Israel by exiling them from the promised land. Regarding the generation of the wilderness, ADONAI swore an oath, "As the Lord lives." He said, "As I live, your corpses will fall in the wilderness, even all your numbered men, according to your complete number from 20 years old and upward, who have grumbled against me." Numbers chapter 14, verse 28 to 29. The generation that died in the wilderness corresponds to the generation of exile. For 40 years I loathed that generation. I said, "This is a people whose hearts go astray. They don't understand how I do things. Therefore I swore in my anger that they would not enter my rest." Psalms chapter 95, verse 10 and 11. Oaths. The Lord also swore to punish Israel for not keeping the covenant. Here is what ADONAI Elohim says: "This is Jerusalem. I have placed her in the middle of the nations. Countries can be found all around her." The Lord swore to send his people to exile, and that was fulfilled. Regarding redemption of Israel on the Song of Moshe, he lifted his hands to heaven and swore by himself to take vengeance on the enemies of his people, a promise repeated by prophets on numerous occasions. He has sworn by his name to seek out the lost sheep of Israel. "As I live," ADONAI Elohim swears, "because my sheep have become prey, my sheep have become food for every wild animal. Since there was no shepherd, since my shepherds didn't look for my sheep, and instead my shepherds fed themselves, but not my sheep. Therefore shepherds hear the words of ADONAI. ADONAI Elohim says, I'm against the shepherds. I demand that they hand my sheep back to me. I will not allow them to feed the sheep, and they won't feed themselves either. I will rescue my sheep from their mouths. They will be food for them no longer. For here is what ADONAI Elohim says, I am taking over. I will search for my sheep and look after them myself. He made an oath to Zion, to gather exile of Israel and adorn her with them. Raise your eyes and look around. They are all gathering and coming to you, ADONAI swears. As surely as I am alive, you will wear them like jewels, adorn yourself with them like a bride. Isaiah chapter 49, verse 18. He will bring Israel to their land to fulfill the oath that he made to their forefathers. For me, this is like Noah's flood. Just as I swore that no flood like Noah would ever again cover the earth, so now I swear that never again I will be angry with you or rebuke you. Isaiah chapter 54 verse 9. Adonai has sworn by his right hand and by his mighty arm, never again I will give you your grain to your enemies as food, nor will strangers drink your wine, for which you work so hard. Isaiah chapter 62 verse 8. For the great redemption to take place, the Lord will raise up Yeshua HaMashiach, the son of David, because the Adonai swore an oath to David, an oath he will not break. One of the sons from your own body I will sit on your throne. Psalms chapter 132 verse 11. The Lord has sworn on oath to make the Messiah a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. Again, he swore to expand the glory of his kingdom to all mankind at the time that he declared the doom of the generation in the wilderness. The Lord swore, but as surely as I live, and that the whole earth is filled with the glory of Adonai. Numbers chapter 14 verse 21. He has sworn that all humanity will one day acknowledge him. In the name of myself I have sworn. From my mouth has rightly gone out a word that will not return, that to me every knee will bow and every tongue will swear. Isaiah chapter 45 verse 23. Annulling divine oaths. A man has the authority to revoke rash vows taken by his unmarried young daughters. When a woman makes a vow to Adonai, formally obligating herself while she is a minor living in her father's house, then if the father has heard what she vowed or obligated herself to do and holds his peace, then all her vows remain binding. Every obligation she has bound herself to will stand. But if on the day her father hears it, he expresses his disapproval, then none of her vows or obligations she has bound herself to will stand. And Adonai will forgive her because her father expressed his disapproval. Numbers chapter 30 verse 3 to 5. If a woman, having made a vow or rashly committed herself to an obligation, she then gets married to her husband, hears it but holds his peace with her on the day he learns of it, then her vows and obligations she has bound herself will stand. But if the husband disapproves on the day he hears it, it will void the vow and obligation to which she has bound herself, and Adonai will forgive her. The vow of a widow, however, or of a divorcee, including everything to which she has obligated herself, will stand against her. Numbers chapter 30 verse 9. If a woman vowed in her husband's house or obligated herself on the day her husband heard it, but held his peace with her and did not express disapproval, then all her vows and obligations will stand. If her husband makes this null and void the day he hears it, then her vows and obligations will not stand, and Adonai will forgive her. Her husband may let every vow and every binding obligation stand, or he may void it. Numbers chapter 30 verse 13. From this verse, rabbis derive that authority to annul certain types of vows that people foolishly take upon themselves. A rabbi who is well versed and competent in the law of oaths and vows can review vows of abstinence and find legal way to revoke the vow. According to Jewish law, a rabbinic court, Beit Din, can release anyone from a personal vow as long as the annulment does not adversely affect another party. The Talmud cites Psalms 95 verse 11 as an example of an oath which invites annulment because it was taken in anger. Therefore I swore in my anger that they would not enter my rest. Numbers chapter 95 verse 11. Life applications. The need to fulfill vows shows that we need to be faithful and trustworthy before Adonai. It also shows our integrity before Him. act of fulfilling vow is an expression of worship and devotion, acknowledging Adonai's sovereignty and one's accountability to him. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 4 to 5 states, when you vow a vow to God, do not delay paying it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Pay what you vow. It is better not to make a vow than to make one and not fulfill it. This shows the importance and seriousness of fulfilling the vows and oaths. Vows and oaths are serious commitments, for they reflect our devotion to Adonai and ethical responsibility to others. Yeshua HaMashiach addressed the issue of vows in the Sermon on the Mount. In Matthew chapter 5 verse 33 to 37, he teaches again, you have heard that it was said to the ancients, do not break your oath, but fulfill your vows to the Lord. But Yeshua gave a higher standard. He said, but I tell you not to swear at all, either by heaven, for it is by God's throne, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Nor should you swear by your head, for you cannot make a single hair white or black. Simply let your yes be yes, or no, no. Anything more comes from the evil one. Yeshua emphasized the importance of honesty and integrity without the need for vows, suggesting that one's word should be sufficient. Believers of Yeshua need to be thoughtful and be purposeful in our commitments and understanding the weight of the words with which we make commitments and fulfill the promises we make to God. It shows us that we need to be true to what we say. Keeping one's word will ensure lasting trust and develop better relationships with others. Second Aliyah, Numbers chapter 31 verse 1 to chapter 31 verse 12. The events that are discussed in this parsha, including the conquest of Midian, took place in 1407 BC. The Midianites played a major role in the sin of the Jewish people. This is recorded in the Parsha, Balak. Adonai gave permission to destroy Midian in Numbers chapter 25 verse 16 to 18. In this reading, Adonai instructs Moshe to destroy Midianites. Moshe ordered an army of 1,000 warriors from each tribe, altogether an army of 12,000 men. Israel's army fought against Midian and destroyed the men, including their kings, and also Balaam, who had tried to curse the Israelites. They captured all the Midianite cities and took all their animals as spoils. Please share this video. Remember to like it and subscribe to this channel.